Alright, what is up guys? Hopefully you're having a good day. Now, recently I've noticed that a lot of you have been asking me questions about sensitivity, so I've actually decided that I would create an updated Find Your Sensitivity map v2 so you guys can test your new sensitivities easily. Also, this map was actually in early access in my Discord for everybody, so if you guys want a chance at playing my maps early, then you can go ahead and join the Discord. The link will be in the description. Alright, now going into the map, it's a fairly simple design. I like to keep them pretty minimal. I just think it looks a lot cleaner and it also helps a lot with performance. But here you have weapons all along the fountain. Each one is a different category, so you have three ARs, 3 shotguns, 3 or I guess 2 SMGs and 1 pistol, and then 3 kind of long range weapons, scoped, bolt, and a hunting rifle. Now the weapons you'll be using the most is only this and maybe the attack SMG. The shotgun is really only useful in the Hipfire one, so don't worry too much, but they are there if you do want to use them for whatever reason. Now once you kind of walk up to all these teleporters around here, you will see a popular settings area. It basically just says the most common settings that are used by pros, so it's for controller, it's pretty much linear, 40 to 55%, ADS is 10 to 16%, and then edit build. And then on keyboard you got the main sensitivities that most pro players use. And the main reason I put this up here is if you're lost and you really don't know where to start, this gives you a good starting point and kind of ranges that most pros tend to stick to. Now obviously you don't have to follow all of these, but it is recommended. And then when you go into each scenario, it's pretty much like Train Island V6. You have the start button with the little timer, and the reset will be the X. And this map has all the sections you really need to test out new sensitivities. So for example, we have horizontal and vertical. Now this is when you are ADS'd. So if we go into here, make sure you're ADS'd. This is not the Hipfire one. If you want to do Hipfire, this is the horizontal Hipfire, and this is the vertical Hipfire one. Make sure you walk into the correct ones. Some other things you should do while testing new sensitivity is also crosshair, long range, and free building. So into the crosshair one, this is from Train Island V6 as well. All you really got to do is just, reposition your crosshair and get as many as you can. And then long range, don't really need to explain this is just longer range. And you also want to test your free building whenever you're testing out new sensitivities, especially if you're on keyboard and mouse, because you don't have separate, multipliers for that. And then on this side and this side, you just have some extra tips to go over if you want to adjust your sensitivity and stuff like that. So you guys can go ahead and read that. I'm not going to go over it in this video. But anyways, once you actually go into one of the sections, this is what it will look like. You can just shoot the timer to start it, and then shoot this X to stop it. And then down here you will see that it says goal 20 score. That is what you have to get in order to pass. If you do pass on your screen, it will say something like good job, you have a good sensitivity. If you don't pass this score, then it'll say try again or try a different sensitivity. Now right here, make sure you pay attention to the recommended weapon, because this is the weapons that I tested it with. So if you were to use like an SMG or something, then this whole system wouldn't really work very well, because these have been tested with whatever the recommended weapon is. So just make sure you pay attention to that so you're using the correct weapon for each section. It will also track all your missed shots just like that, and the amount of enemies you've killed. Now don't worry too much if you missed a lot of shots, because obviously there's a lot of bloom when you're just spamming your gun like that. All you really need to worry about is reaching this score right here. As long as you reach that score, you should have a pretty good sensitivity. Now the vertical one's pretty much the same as horizontal, but obviously this one's vertical. Pretty straightforward, it just goes up and down. And I don't think I really need to explain further on this one. Okay, so here it actually recommends us to use attack SMG or a combat shotgun, so make sure you have those two weapons. Now this one does not actually track your missed shots because you are hip firing, so you are going to be missing a lot, so it wasn't really worth putting in this one. All you really have to do is make sure you're killing as many enemies as possible. So in this section, it's going to be 8 kills that we're trying to shoot for. Alright, so we ended up with 13 kills. So it says good job, your sensitivity looks good. We reached the minimum. Now we can just move on to a new section and see if our sensitivity is still good. And then the vertical hipfire is pretty much the same as regular vertical, except this time you're a little bit closer, and instead of aiming in, obviously you're hip firing. And in this one, you want to try to get around 10 kills. Now for the long range one, it does recommend that you use an AR, obviously, because it's really far. And then make sure you are tap firing, that way you have the first shot accuracy, because if you shoot a lot, then you're going to get a ton of missed shots and it's just not going to work very well. Now you may notice that the goal is 0 score, and the reason I did that is because you will be missing a lot of shots at far range, so just getting a positive score is going to be difficult in this one. So as long as you have your score above 0, you should be good in this area. Oh my god, what? I don't know how I missed so many shots right there. So when finding your sensitivity, make sure you have a nice balance. You don't have to get perfect scores in every single section. Just make sure you get the sections that you do most often. For example, if you're more of a passive player, maybe long range is more important to you, so adjust your sensitivity according to your long range scores. And if you're more of an aggressive player, then maybe the hipfire ones would be more important to you. So kind of figure out where you're at with your sensitivities and see which one fits for most of the situations you're actually in real games. And that is because when you're trying to find your sensitivity, it really doesn't have to be complex at all. These are pretty much the 6 main things you'll really need when trying to find a new sensitivity. And like it says right here, this map should mainly be used only for sensitivity. If you want proper aim training, then obviously use my other maps. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Hopefully you guys enjoy this map and find it useful, and if you do, drop a like. It's much appreciated, and I'll see you guys in the next one.